Which fictional character do you think would definitely have an OnlyFans? Nearly every character in The Boys, but especially the Deep. Jean Ralphio. I love that this thread is half people taking the character into consideration and the other half is just people revealing their fetish. Ursula, Phoebe's twin sister from Friends. Pam from Archer. Meredith from The Office. Roger from American Dad. Him from Powerpuff Girls without a shadow of a doubt. Zap Brannigan. Kif would begrudgingly take the photos. Johnny Bravo. April Ludgate. It wouldn't be sexual in nature, but you could pay to watch her do some really weird stuff. Mad Mossy from Borderlands. Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. The Todd from Scrubs. Cardman's mom. Men who have been raped, what happened / how did you recover? When I was 16, I was arrested for burglary and spent 6 months in a juvenile facility. One of the counselors sexually assaulted me and several other boys. When he was on night duty, he would show us porn and ask us to compare the size of our penises to one another. He would also show us how to huff inhalants. One of his favorite games he called a space monkey, which involved a boy standing against a wall while the counselor would have his hands on our throats. He'd squeeze until we passed out and watch us wake back up. I sliced my arm open with a razor blade that I stole from a staff member so that I could go to the hospital to tell someone about the abuse. It took 20 stitches to close my arm. Children and Youth Services, as well as the state police, opened an investigation, the boys were sent home, the facility was shut down, and a lawsuit followed. I'm 32 now and am still haunted by it. Was raped by an uncle, retired military/firefighter, from 7 to 13 years old. Violence and pain were his thing. Pretty standard story of using threats of killing me and my mom or my older brother if I ever spoke about it. Finally stood up to him just before my 14th birthday. From 13 to 18 years old I kind of junkied out and started down the road of self-deprecating behavior. Finally told my parents at 18 years old, and of course no one believed me. 56 now, never had any quality relationships, nor have I ever been able to find therapy to alleviate the trust and intimacy issues that I carry. So the truth of the matter is I never really recovered from it. 12K edit. This morning when I woke up and wrote these few short sentences, I never could have expected so much support and genuine compassion. I'll admit that writing the post brought a lot of things to the surface that I hadn't given any attention to in some years. And I've never spoken openly about any of this prior to today. I've only spoken to about 24 people my entire life about it. That includes 7 therapists, so to say, I've been little soggy today is a bit of an understatement. I do believe a touch of my faith in humanity was restored today. Just thanks. My brother did various things by framing it as a game of truth or dare. Despite being a strong and threatening dude already, he didn't have to threaten physical violence, he just had to threaten to tell our mother, which is a highlight to level of emotional abuse from that end of the family. Broke away from the family that's most inane at 24, got therapy, learned Krav Maga for personal safety. Then dated someone especially abusive, another sexual abuse instance, get more therapy, take a 4-year break from dating to finish school and get a job. And start a great relationship. At age 36, my life couldn't be better, smiley face, dash. Cheesy edit, but thanks for the support everyone. Far and away my most upvoted anything on any platform, and solid support all around. It can be pretty difficult for men to be supported, or even believed, about this sort of thing. I hope we all stride forward to great lives. I was raped by 2 18-ish-year-old men when I was 9. Life of drug addiction, and I did not know what was wrong with me. My dad was drinking with their father, and doing coke? Drug dealer house? I don't know. Anyways, 28 now, I forgot the entire event that changed my life until 2 years ago. So the trauma of it caused so much pain and agony, but I could not remember it and I've only just now started to figure things out. So my life was dark and I felt broken for a very long time. Decades of confusion, and then one day at 26 years old, it all came flooding back to me. I feel bad for that little boy, but I will continue to not be the victim. I was 15. Had a girlfriend, but I was watching Super Troopers at a friend's house drinking and smoking weed when I fell asleep. I woke up choking on him and immediately vomited, but I was so tired and confused. His brother came down asking what was going on but was reassured everything was on the up and up. I fell asleep again. When I woke up next, this friend was on top of me and inside of me. Panic and fear. That's all I can remember. Told me to keep it our secret or else he'd tell everyone I was gay, which at the time, to me, was a social death sentence. He groomed me for months before that and continued to abuse me for another year after. He broke into my house and chased me, pinned me to the couch. Showed up at my house in the middle of the night. Years have passed since then and he has since passed. I was 15 when it happened the first time. You never recover, you just adapt. You become more protective of yourself and others, more empathetic, more sympathetic, more angry. So much more angry. I've come close to ending my story on several occasions but seem to talk myself out at the last moment. These days I don't trust any man and am constantly in fight or flight. It's exhausting. First time my half-brother's dad held me down and raped me one night, while everyone else was passed out outside after a party. I was 7. Second time a girl at a party roofied me, and I woke up to her trying to get me to finish inside her. I was 16. Had to deal with it myself as I was told multiple times as a teenager and young adult that men can't be raped. Molested multiple times during the first 10 years of my life by my biological father, his girlfriend, and his brother. It was not just me, my sisters and mother were also sad. It has a lasting impact. I've had therapy, guidance counseling, in later life it was antidepressants and more therapy, etc. It sounds stupid but you grow up thinking it's your fault and that you could have done something to stop it. One thing that helped a lot was being open about it. The more I spoke about it, the less impact it had on me. Eventually, I realized that it wasn't my fault and it helped alleviate my depression. My biological father now suffers from multiple illnesses, so every waking day of his life is painful and it makes me happy. The girlfriend was eventually targeted by them both and she is now in witness protection. The brother was sent to prison and was beaten by inmates daily. He is now dead. It only stopped because a social worker turned up at my father's address and saw us being beaten through the window. I've not seen him since. However, he found me on social media a couple years ago and basically said everything is water under the bridge and tried garnering sympathy by sending a photo of myself and my sisters, followed with how he's searching for his long-lost children. He stated he's dying and would love to have a relationship with them again before he dies. He also stated that he'd rather be blocked than left on read as that would give him an answer. I left him on read. He's had many children since I was born, so I have multiple half-brothers/sisters. I pray to God that they didn't have the same experience that I did. When I was 7, I attended sleepover as a part of my neighborhood Kia troop. Kias are junior Boy Scouts in my country. There were 30sh boys all sleeping around the outside of this enormous gymnasium, and I woke in the middle of the night to the 30-something-year-old scout leader hovering above me. He was doing something that it took me years to understand. He then took my underwear and put them in front pocket of my backpack, and whispered to me that he was just changing my underwear because I had wet my pants, and if I didn't want my parents to be mad at me, I best not tell them about this. Many years later, in my 20s, I was shopping at the local Kmart when he walked up to me to ask if I needed help finding anything. Turns out he worked there. I got away from him as quickly as I could. Truth be told, I don't have particularly strong feelings about the whole thing other than a constant feeling of guilt about how many other boys he may have done it to since. He was my best mate, we were 19. He put on a game he knew well and declared that the loser of every round had to drink. When that didn't work, he gave me pills he said were ecstasy. Scene missing, suddenly I'm face down and my pole hurts. He's sat on the edge of the bed crying and throws me out. I tell nobody but my partner, and we never speak again. Many years later, said partner tries to get us to reconnect. I broke up with her on the spot. Which was the right call, as I found out later she wanted a three-way. With my rapist. The rape, I was okay with. Sort of. I didn't remember anything, really. But that fucked me up. It took me years to trust anyone again, but I did. The love of someone good is the best curative possible. But if you can't get that, talk to a professional. And if you can't do that, a friend. And if you can't do _that_, internet strangers. Just don't let it fester. I was 6 years old when my older brother helped himself to my innocence. Recovery? My parents didn't want anything to do with it and my brother has been avoiding me ever since I confronted him about it. I'm just stuck with this for the rest of my life and that's all I got. Edit, to all the people who voted or replied, thank you, I never thought there were so many people who cared. I won't forget about this, much love to all people here. Over 10 years ago, I was almost 24, a man raped me. And after the incident, I got told by a doctor that I should not have this style of sex. My body isn't made for it. She also told me that I am lucky that I was not a woman. If I was, it would be rape. I still feel guilt, shame, fear, because of that. I don't want people to come close to me, and touch me. Was on a football trip when much younger and this girl who was in the hotel with her friends told me she wanted to fuck me. I said I had a girlfriend and it wasn't going to happen, but thanks for the ego boost. I went to bed that night after drinks etc. and my mate who was sharing the room with me told me this girl was going around the hotel trying to find my room and had found out where I was. He told me to move rooms so I did and she didn't find me that night. Next day the same thing happened. We all ended up back at the hotel after clubbing etc. and she wouldn't leave me alone. I traded rooms with another friend and went and drunkenly crashed in his room. She somehow got in and was sucking my dick trying to make it hard and was trying to put a condom on me, at least. Another friend saw what was happening, door left open apparently, and shooed her out. I passed out again to wake up to her backed up against me and using my morning wood for sex, without a condom this time. It took me a while to realize what was going on and I eventually told her to get out. Obviously I then had a massive panic as I had to go home to my girlfriend and all the lads on the bus knew I'd had sex with somebody. I was about 18 or 19 at the time. My girlfriend wanted sex when I got home and I obviously couldn't do it due to the condom so told her what happened and she went fucking mental and accused me of cheating on her. At the time I didn't even realize that I'd done nothing wrong, apart from being too drunk to protect myself, and it led to us breaking up for a while before she eventually forgave me. I got nasty from that girl too and had to take a course of tablets. It was a really fucked up situation from somebody old enough to have known better and extremely predatory. I wish I'd been smart enough to realize what was happening but this was the late 90s and rape against men wasn't a thing that was really thought about. It happened to me at 8 when my parents would send me to get them some stuff from a mom and pop's store. The owner wouldn't be there sometimes and it would be the assistant instead and at that time she looked like she was in her 30s. All I know is that she would use Pokemon and UIO cards to lure me closer to her. I trusted her that she wouldn't do anything bad since she was an employee. And one time I asked her if she had some cards in stock and she said she thinks so but the boxes are in the bathroom, which they were because the place was pretty small, and when I went in, she closed the bathroom door, put my pants down and she went down on me and gave me a handjob. I was so scared to death because as an 8-year-old, you're not going to understand anything of what's going on, not understand certain feelings and sensations. She traumatized me to the point that I no longer wanted to go to the store and every time she was around my heart would race so fast and I would get extremely uncomfortable around her. She would put her hands on me and I would just absolutely hate it. I developed trauma from people touching me without my consent. So whenever someone touches me in a way that can be felt or seen as intimate, I shut down and clam up so fast. I don't like anyone whom I don't have deep trust with to be touching me at all. Even my friends now and then startle me and I tense up so bad. I get anxiety and feel like something terrible is going to happen even if it doesn't. Reading these stories breaks my heart. Rape is rape, regardless of gender. I read every story here and you're all really brave for speaking up about it. Twice, once by a dude when under the influence of too many substances at an after party at a rando house. The second time by a woman under the influence of too much alcohol by someone I thought was a friend inside my own house. I'm now 45 and still single with no plans for relationships at all for the rest of my life. My dog ain't pulling that shit on me. Men, when you're finishing while having sex, what's something better to say than I'm coming? Witness me. I once shouted, oh no. Yahtzee. You're gonna make me come is better according to the last time this got brought up. I shall be arriving momentarily. Ready or not, here I come. The Wilhelm scream. Deleted. By the power of Grayskull. Just moan, man. That's what I want to hear from my wife, I assume she's the same. It's sperming time. I was hooking up with this chick for the first time and for me it had been a few months, basically felt like a few years, since I had gotten laid and I started to hit this chick from behind and like 15 seconds and I felt the climax coming and I didn't know what to do so I said, oh shit, good golly Miss Molly. I have no clue where that phrase came from, it is not in my normal vocabulary ever. The girl laughed so hard. Thankfully I got a few more cracks at it and every time we were done she said that she is with a new dude now, we are sort of friends but I'm in her phone as Miss Molly and I deserve it. I'm empty, Reloading. Insemination complete. Penis withdrawal procedure initiated.